It happened. It happened, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to episode number 52 of the live day trading stream. A little bit later, a lot of calls today with the new clients, the new members in our community. So we are going to be here, and what a time it is to be alive right now. Gold has been absolutely rocking it. Uno reverso, I would say. So we broke down. We have to talk about gold right now at the moment here. Let's absolutely go over everything that you guys need to know here. Let's make sure it will be a good stream. A bit of a shorter stream, but we're gonna get to this. We're gonna get to the sauce straight into it. All right. Let's see who we have with us, and then we'll kick it off, my friends. Hope you guys are doing well here. Sniper, Smart Money, Crypto en masse, my friend. How are you? Good to see you. Mayhem, what's happening? Ayub, Daniel, my friend. Ahmed is back, my friend. How are you doing, man? Good to see you again. Ole, Julius, John Sparks, the man himself, Steven, Bob, Radek. Good to see you, my friend. Great call we had. Lovely to meet you, man. All right. Let's make it happen, my friends. Good luck today. And let's talk about what's going on with Goldie. Welcome back, my friends. Hope you guys are doing well today. You guys have already seen what happens, right? In 3 minutes, we will experience the New York Stock Exchange Open after an aggressive expansion from our favorite and our all-time loving, also loving Goldie. What has been happening, my friends? We broke down. We actually did it, right? We took out the lows. And we finally left the station. And you guys already know it. The longer the accumulation or the distribution, the harder the expansion. All right? Again, the longer the distribution, the consolidation, the harder the expansion. And clearly, that's what we're seeing right now at the moment here. Major breakdown for gold here. Let's quickly go over today's markets. We're gonna look at an amazing, important level, which is actually coming right now. We're actually tapping into this level right now. It's a strong level, but we have to talk about what happened today here, because number one, I just want to make sure you guys are fully aware of this, okay? And that is the following. Today is the 27th of May, 2026. All right, that means we have the expiration of the futures contract on gold, all right? The GCK26 on the CME COMEX exchange, all right? That means that the trading termination stops at 12:30 p.m., okay, Central Time, which is in a couple hours from now here. And that means that all the open standing contracts that they are running on that contract, they have to be closed before the 27th of May, which is today, all right? So this usually causes an increase of volume. The futures expiration causes usually some more volatility in the markets, and this is exactly what we are seeing right now at the moment here. Don't stress, this is all part of the game. This is normal. This is part of what happens when these contracts are getting closed right now. So usually what happens is they're shifting over their contracts into the new contract, okay? We call that a rollover, or whatever the case may be right there, okay? Now this is very important to make, to be aware of the fact that this is happening and taking place right now. Always an increase of volatility around these expirations. Just so you know, okay? Clearly that's what I've been seeing on gold right now at the moment, all right? You can actually see this right there. Let's actually go open it right now. Let's see where we are. Okay, higher time frame. There were a lot of interesting things happening right now, and the main reason why, and this is also the conclusion that I'm just drawing today here, okay, is the following reason. The fact that gold was dropping so hard today, right? But at the same time, the dollar was not really moving anywhere, okay? The dollar was not really moving anywhere. You can look at the dollar right now. Look at the dollar. The dollar is not really doing much, okay? Oil actually is coming down. Actually came down today as well here. So how is it possible that if oil drops and the dollar is coming down and the yield is actually also not really strong, how is it possible that gold is dropping? Okay, this is always a major question that people have, and there's always a lot of confusion around this. A conclusion, right? Do some research in regards to the futures expirations. Sometimes it happens, okay? Sometimes you see this happening right now at this current moment, and this is a great example of that as well here, that gold can just drop whenever the expiration is taking place. And of course, Corrado did some news, etc., 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 right? Which is kind of a catalyst or whatever you're gonna call it. But there was some positive news. We saw a quick spike here, aggressive move. That was just a move to induce new buyers in the market for the continuation further towards the downside, right? So this is a very interesting time to be alive right now, especially because gold is breaking down further. So what are the next levels for gold here? Before we go deeper into the lower time frame and actually look at the levels right now that we have to watch, okay? Let's go over the higher time frame first, because we have gold right now, right here, okay? And look at this. I just want you to pay attention to this level right now at this moment, okay? Crazy that I'm gonna say this, but this is the next level, and we've reached our next level already. Do you see that? Right here. Super important level, my friends. Super important daily level right there on gold right now, and that is the 4400. Okay, we have actually tapped into this already, the 4400 at this moment, and this is what we are reacting from right as when the New York Stock Exchange opens up. We tap into the 4400 right on the dot, on the spot, exactly around that closure right there. Okay, so look at that reaction here on the daily. Look at this major support we found beforehand on the daily, and look at where we are right now. Okay, today super bearish, obviously a super bearish day here. Look at this major candle towards the downside right now, major rejection towards the downside around, you know, overall I think around 1275 pips from the top to the bottom. Okay, and it's a pretty big move, 127.5 points to be exact. It's a huge move on gold right now, but we are back at the 4400 at this current moment, and this is where we are right now. Look at the reaction already, my friends, on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, if gold needs to hold, it needs to hold this level. There's no doubt about that. It needs to hold this level. If this flips again, it's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be really nasty, because the targets, the next targets are sitting much lower for gold. Okay, much lower than the 4400 from that perspective right there. So this is a major level that needs to hold for gold in order to for it to potentially survive. But the daily is not looking that strong today. So what was the setup during the London session today? Let's go over this. You guys know that we use the previous trading week. Remember? Look at that. The previous trading week right there. Okay, boom, previous trading week. You guys remember it? If not, and you're new to this channel, We utilize a lot the volume profile. You can actually learn about the volume profile as well in my book that I've written, or by just simply watching the live streams on a daily basis. But in essence, what we do is we mark out the Monday all the way down to the Friday from the previous week, okay? And then what we do is we utilize the volume profile right here, the fixed range volume profile, and we click on it, and then we go from the left, right here. Let's do it one more time, from the left to the right. And then, what is the level that we talked about yesterday in the chat, my friends? Let me know. What is that level that we talked about yesterday? I want to hear it in the chat. What was that level that we talked about? Okay? Let me know, my friends. Good to see you, just arrived. Good to see you, Cliff. He says, I'm waiting for a touch of the daily MA. Okay. Value area low. Exactly, my friends. The value area low, that level is something that we have to mark out. It is this zone. Remember, I was talking about the fact if we would leave the value area low, how bearish it actually is. Us leaving the value area low. If us holding the value low is a different story, but us leaving the value area low and closing below that is actually a very bad sign, because then we could target the previous weekly lows. Matter of fact, we did target more than the previous weekly lows. We came down all the way to the 4,400, my friends, okay? So the previous weekly low right here, the previous weekly value low is a level, and I want you to look at what happened today. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Okay? We broke below this. We came down. And guess what we did? We pulled back into the previous weekly very low right here. And we sold off. That was the start of the collapse of gold. It was the retest of the value area low. It was actually the retest of the value area. Okay? The value area in general. We broke out of the value area, which was this area right here. This is the value area. This is where all the volume was traded. 70% of the volume was traded here from the previous week. We were mainly operating within this. We saw that failed breakout on a Monday, right? Then we took that long from. Then we said, okay, if we break down, we fall back in, we're going to get rejected from the point of control. We broke that. We then left the station by breaking below the value area low, okay? And that was the retest, and that was the sell-off of today here. So you can look at the value area always from the previous week, and always, if you trade around the value area low or high from the previous week, you always pay attention to when you leave the value area, because this is where, like I said before, the best opportunities will come from every time, okay? Even if it's a failed breakout, you can spot that, you can see that, all right? Hope that makes sense. So we left the station, price came back down again. Okay, after that, what happened then? Okay, let's mark out the swing profile, because now we have to go to where we are now, right? We're gonna end up at our current price, and then the potential scenario is right there. But in order to get that, we need to understand what happened in the past. So we have the high here, which is the daily high, okay? We came down all the way towards that low, right there, all right? And then we had some potential bullish news right there, okay? And guess what happened in that bullish news? A lot of buyers stepped in here. A lot of people wanting to buy immediately at the bottom, like shooting up. And then what happened? Price stepped into a low volume node right there. Look at that. We tapped into the low volume node of that area right there. Remember, we talked about the low volume node on the stream all the time, right? Hope that makes sense. And price just continued to drop down further, okay? So in order for us to really get a good confirmation, like a shift in that momentum, etc., you need to break back above this. But it could easily be that this was just an easy, continuation sell, okay, right towards the downside. So looking at it makes a lot of sense, okay? Looking at it from that perspective makes a lot of sense from that perspective right there, okay? But now we are breaking down. We are down even further. We are back down at the 4,400s, okay? Now we're in a little bit of a different story, because right now, okay, even though the whole day was clearly bearish, clearly selling, okay, we are now back at the daily support, okay? Oh, that makes sense right there. We are now back at that daily level, okay? So this is where again, and I don't want to spoil it now again, like the last time. Lorenzo only looking for long setups, but the reality is, look at where we are, right? Look at where we are. That is just the reality right now at this current moment. Yeah, I can't make it better than this, okay? If I streamed indeed around the New York open today, then yes, it was actually that low volume node, which was still a continuation sell right around there, okay? But now we are at daily support. So what is the conclusion, okay? Well, number one thing that we can do is to now kind of observe what the dollar is doing, because when the futures expiration is there on gold, the dollar is not as relevant as it is normally. This counts for oil too. This counts for the yields too. Why? Because people are forced to either open new positions or close their current positions on their futures contract. It causes more volatility. It causes more volume. The chance of a breakout is higher, okay? This could have an impact, and it could decouple the connection between the dollar and between gold. So it's kind of less relevant right now to be obsessed with the dollar when this rollover right now with this futures expiration is actually taking place. I hope that makes sense right there, okay? The dollar is flat, gold is dropping hard. That is the end of story from that perspective, right? Not much we can do there. We need to wait for that rebalancing, that re-reacting again to see, okay, are we synchronized? Are we synchronized with the dollar? Are we synchronized with oil again? And then from there onwards, we can pick it up. We can leverage that, okay? For now, we have to be a little bit more patient from that perspective, okay? Anyways, what do you guys think is going on right now? Because right now, we are at daily support at the same time though, right? You could see that the price will potentially react here. This was actually kind of a big move right now. I'm just looking at it right now. 240 pips to the upside, right around here, okay? So what needs to happen right now? In my opinion, we need to move this. We need to move this swing profile from the high, not towards this low anymore that we had before. No, we need to move it down towards the current low, okay? Right around here, actually the current price even. And you can actually see that this is where now we will find a lot of resistance right here, okay? Regardless, it will not be an easy. It will not be an easy flip right now, okay? So in my opinion, thinking that you just should blindly buy around this area right now is not the right moment either, okay? The main reason is because you are still getting rejected by areas of inefficiency in the marketplace, right? We talked about these low volume nodes right here. Do you guys remember? These low volume nodes right there, right around here. Do you guys remember? This is a low volume node, all right? Clearly, you see a lot of volume. Let me just explain it to the new guys one more time here, okay? A lot of volume, a gap, okay? A lot of volume, a gap, all right? A lot of volume, a gap. And people are saying, yes, but how is it possible that low volume nodes and high volume nodes, okay, right here, high volume nodes, can both act as support and resistance? Well, it's true. It can, okay? But most importantly, these low volume nodes right now are the most important zones to pay attention to, because if you can take out some of those zones, it actually is a sign of strength, because that means that the inefficiency gets filled, the market is trying to rebalance itself out, and we find more support for gold. Right now, if you mark out a zone like this, right here, from the daily high towards the daily lows, right? The swing high to swing low, then you can actually see that we are now facing that resistance already, okay? We're facing that resistance already, right around there. So clearly you can see that we have that support there, we have that resistance here, okay? We are now facing that resistance. So in order for us to say, hey, gold is starting to push back, it's starting to show some strength, right? It either really needs to break back above it, right? A pullback into this and show that we're kind of forming that support here. That could lead into a bounce, okay? Most importantly though, where things get really positive for gold again, is if you can break above the red line. And the red line is what we call the point of control, okay? This is the swing point of control right around there. It's actually at the 4442, sorry. That is the area where the most volume has been traded in this swing, actually throughout the whole trading day today. So this is where the battle between buyers and sellers took place the most aggressively, where the most volume was traded. If you can break above that, okay, it is actually a really bullish signal, because that means that you come down, you take out the lows, you bounce from daily support, you break back above the point of control of the day. That means that right now buyers are clearly back in control, okay? That's very confident for continuation plays, actually, if you break back above that, okay? But we're not there right now, okay? So what do? Are we going to just try to long it and hope that we get there? Or are we going to try to short it now here in that low volume node? Maybe a quick short to the downside? Or do we simply wait for price to pull back into that daily level again and see if we can hold that level again, if this will actually cause some interest, okay? Now, the only way for me to confirm what the best situation could be here is to look at the order flow, okay? To look at the order flow and to see where we are, because right now in terms of market sentiment, okay, this last 15-minute candle was super bearish, but price is now trying to close above it. Matter of fact, clearly, because we're bouncing from a daily level, my friends, we are now right here. This is our daily level. Let me make it gray so it's the same. Right, there we go. This is our daily level, okay? Now, what happened in this daily level right now at the moment, in this daily level, a lot of people were shorting because they don't look at the higher time frame. They're just obsessed with the trend, lower time frame, short. Well, right now we are at the daily level, right? We are back at the 4400s. So you can see that a lot of sellers stepped in here and they actually didn't got anywhere, okay? Why? Because this next candle right now, right here, okay, is actually more bullish. You see that? We close this candle green. But if you look into the candle, look how much selling there actually is into that candle right now, okay? Look at the amount of selling right here. If you actually open up this right here, you can see a number. Hope you can read it, but it's minus 128. That means that more people were selling than buying, but the candle closed green. The candle closed bullish, okay? That is called an absorption. So right now, we're seeing an absorption of sellers at daily support, okay? Which always would favor buyers, right? It always would favor the longs right now in the short term, okay? So very aggressive, okay? If you want to trade this aggressively, you need to kind of look for a level inside of this on the lower time frame where what we're looking for, where buyers actually stepped in and where the most sellers were the most aggressive. Now, one of those levels is the 4405, right around there, okay? So if we would say price is coming down, I would say pay attention to the 4405, but there is a chance that right now, because of what we're seeing here, that gold is going to try to make a push higher, okay? So either, this is just my scenario right now, something that I would feel relatively comfortable with to give it a try, and that is either price pushes down to the 4405, okay, which is right around here, 4405, all right? And I'm going to just mark out a zone around the 4405 right there, okay? There we go, make it green for you guys today. Going to be a green zone, okay, perfect. Or, it's pretty straightforward. We need to really break above the point of control and then look for the continuation. But, okay, there is still not a certainty that we're going to flip bullish. So, we also have to mark out this low volume node right around there, okay? This is where the least amount of volume is traded here. I think it's an important level, the 4435. So, we have resistance still sitting at the 4435 here, okay? And we have that support now, short-term support, bouncing from daily level at the 4405 right there, okay? Right there, 4405, right there, 4405. All right? There we go. There we go. Okay? Now, these are my two zones right now. If we manage to break out of the resistance right here and we break above the red line, the whole sentiment of the day, in my opinion, has shifted. And this is where things will absolutely turn more in the favor of bulls again, okay? Until then, this is where you try to get in aggressively, which is at the 4405. But we could easily see Another rejection around the 35 as well here, because if you look here at the order flow, the 35 is actually sitting around this area before that major breakdown. Okay, major breakdown right around there, okay, of sellers. So it'll be a major level as well of resistance. Okay, I don't expect this to easily break right now as well. So yeah, let's see what happens in our two zones, my friends, and see if we can get there one more time right now at this current moment. And if so, fantastic, right? We'll have a look at it. And yeah, most likely I will see if I can take some trades as well. I will be trading today on my spot account, okay, in case you want to know. So we are going to be ready to rock if needed right there on our spot account. But it depends if we can get to the 445 or the 35. And then we'll go from there, okay? The difference right now between spot and between futures is, I think, let me check. How crazy is that? MetaTrader 5, 4421.8. Futures 4419.4. So that means that the CFD price is higher than the futures price today. Okay, spot is higher. How interesting. When have we seen that for the last time? It's been a while. It's been a while. It has been a while. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Good to know. Yes. Let me know if this makes sense for you guys here. Also, always appreciate your feedback, of course. Right. Anything, let me know here. In terms of the dollar today, I will be a little bit more, cautious right now around the dollar. We will be looking at the dollar, but I just want to let you know that this is much more driven by what we're currently are witnessing right now, and that is the futures expiration today. Okay. Yes, that is the main catalyst, I think, for the amount of volume we've seen today. So was not much news throughout the London session, etc. Yes. Any news today? We don't have really much news today in general. I mean, we do have tomorrow. We have some news to come to pay attention to. I think tomorrow we have the PC price index, okay, and the GDP Q1 preliminary release. It is not too much of a deal yet, but yeah, tomorrow we do have some news to deal with. Yes, absolutely. What do you think of shorting from that resistance? I think that if we get up there, right, and we actually push higher, what I would pay attention to is how do we react here? Are we starting to reject, etc.? I think that's a good tell sign. Overall, if price breaks out, it's actually very, very good for gold right now. That would change the whole demographic of gold today, because it's always important to understand where is the point of control of today. Where has the most volume been traded today? Right, to just pay attention to who is actually winning the battle. Okay, who is actually in control here. And yeah, It will probably be a lot of resistance there as well until that moment, until it actually breaks and closes above this. And the only way why I'm saying this is so important is because we tapped into that higher time frame support that we talked about on the daily time frame, right? The daily. You look at that reaction from the daily right now. Okay, it's a major level, by the way. It's an absolute major level. The 4400 is it's a very strong level. Now, this will definitely be, we'll definitely see some reaction there. You already saw it beforehand. Moment the volume gets lower, you can see the rejection here on gold. And let's also mark out the range right now. I think we're in the very low. Yeah, we are as well. Yeah, so this will be a very important level. Why don't you use the VWAP for candle confirmation? I think the VWAP is way higher right now at the moment. I think last time we tapped into this was actually the VWAP on the trading view chart is actually not as efficient, I've noticed. Not as good as on the order flow, that's for sure. Because we got rejected at it really strongly around here. During the London session. So yeah, that's interesting. It's not as efficient as it is on the trading view chart. It's fallen so far. Do you think that that New York will turn the tide to 4480? It's a good question, my friend. 4480 is what we all want, but in order to do that, I think it's safer to wait for price to break higher, right? Like I said before, above the red line, or for price to pull back to the 4405. Yeah, there is definitely a strong gap right now between the futures prices right now. Also, like I heard on Top Step, I'm not sure if you guys are seeing it right now, but on Top Step, the price on Top Step right now is super different from the price on futures on TradingView, for example. Okay, super different. Yeah, all because of the contract. All because of the contracts today. Always a lot more volatility here. Funny enough, let's just look at it so you understand actually why. Because if you here go to gold, let's just take gold here. And we go to the daily time frame. And we look at the end of the month. When did we have the top here? I think it was the 29th of January. I think we have seen some of these closures happening all around the end of the month. The end of the month, especially. Around expiration dates, especially. Yeah. Okay, please show me how you got the swing POC. You don't have to donate for that, my friends. By the way, you don't donate, but I appreciate it, but you don't have to do that. Okay. But anyways, the way you have to mark out the swing point of control is you take the high, right there, high. You see that? The high of the day until the actual low right there, okay? The daily low in this case, okay? So it's just the high till the low. We're not going to take it from here to here. We're not going to take it from here to there. No, we just want to witness the whole day. Why is this interesting? Because this is interesting if you see an aggressive expansion throughout the day, because you have then a pullback scenario. If we're talking about potential pullbacks, right? We want to know where the resistance is at, where the resistance will be. And this is why we use the volume profile, because you can see and identify those gaps. And it usually causes some reaction, right? This is why we marked it out to 35. Actually, it's right from here. You already see how we're reacting from it. Okay, it's already resistance, by the way, just so you know. But yeah, the biggest gap was clearly around 35. So I wanted to see if price could get towards the 34, 35. Still in Bali? Yes, still in Bali. Volume is increasing? Not really, man. Volume right now is actually dying. But today, yeah, today's volume was relatively... You know what's so funny, actually? Yesterday, there was much more volume traded. Much more volume than today. But yeah, volume does not equal big moves. All right, let's see if we can react here. Can we actually do that? It's pretty big. Where is this traded? It's actually used on the futures chart, yes. The volume profile is used on the futures chart, exactly. One second, please. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Yeah, if we pull back, I will definitely be looking for longs. That's for sure here. But we do expect a bit of resistance right now. Just let's see how we react on the 5 minute. So we have our levels. I think it was at the... Ah, beautiful. Already breaking it. The 19. Okay. Point of control, fam. We are arrived. This was a news movement? No, this was not news movement. This is straight up bouncing from daily support right now. We're back at the point of control of the day. Okay, at the swing point of control, we call this. In this case, the point of control of the high towards the low. This is why we're reacting here. Okay, we're actually more or less still in resistance. Okay, start at 35 up to 40, 43. Any closure above that is very strong, very bullish. But according to the order flow right now, you can see that we have some pretty good levels right now that we have to work with. Okay, this is the daily level that we tapped into. The daily level is at 4,400. The hourly has just, of course, closed right now 10 minutes ago, right? 9 minutes ago. So now we have a bit more information than we had before this breakdown, before this analysis as well. And that is that we have daily support here. Okay, number one at 4,400. And now on the 1 hour candle, we had a major amount of sellers being trapped in their position right now at, yeah, you could say the 4,424, but the real volume of these 4,000 contracts were actually executed at 4,418 on futures. Okay, so for that exact reason, I would say right now at the moment, okay, is that what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to look for the pullback and to look for the long right now, okay, and place a limit order right there. The only question is, if we break out, right, and we break this resistance right now, is that the opportunity then to continue to go higher right away, okay? Or is it better to wait for price to reach that pullback and then look for the continuation? I think that is the setup right now. 4,405 is one level, but on the hourly time frame with this hourly closure, I will be looking at this zone. That means I will be setting my limit order literally at the 4,419 right now. I'm gonna do this right now. Let me actually set it up here, my friends. 4,419. And on spot, on the CFD, I need to see where that level is exactly at. I think it's the 4,420. Okay? I think it's the 4,420. But that is a level that I'm watching very, very closely right now. So let me make sure that this is already set there as well. So I have at least these contract set up. In case we pull back, it's definitely worth it. That hourly level is a major zone that I want to see. If we pull back, then that is a very, very good sign here. If we break above the point of control, tide is turning for sure. But yeah, one thing I can say with certainty right now, that daily support matters. That daily support right here matters a lot. Okay? Because you can see how many sellers still were shorting into this level. Right here, daily. Okay, daily level at the 4,400-ish. Right there. This is where we tapped into. On the 15-minute. We're breaking out higher. Major support on the daily. If you take the high to the low here, it might be slightly different, but I don't think so. Yeah, it's slightly different on the micro contracts, okay, rather than the actual futures contract on the larger minis, okay. But it's still worth it to pay attention to it, okay. Then the order flow right here, 1 hour. I think if you can get there, maybe the 24. Maybe the 24, but we have to wait to see here. If you can get to the 20, back to the 20 will be amazing. Because that will give us a really good, in my opinion, risk to reward ratio as well. Because you don't want to break below it. Right? You want to hold that low. Okay? So that would give us a pretty good risk to reward ratio, actually. Not bad at all, actually. Not bad at all. Let's see what the dollar is doing as well right now. Oil is just like pulling back a little bit. Does not really care. Look at the dollar though. Like right now, dollar is really slowing down. Okay. Would be good if it would drop. It would be amazing. Why is this important? Because the hourly actually opened up. If we go back to the hourly, it was very forced, very squeezy. Immediately once the 50-minute opened up, we start pushing higher. So let's see if we can actually still get there. Obviously, if we break really strongly, right, above this zone, and we pull back, yeah, then the next target is going to be already going to be much higher again. Yeah. But yeah, it's worth to at least set a buy limit there already. Yeah, so this is pretty much broken out. We did close above the point of control, but we haven't closed the 30-minute candle yet. So, and the hourly as well. So we're still kind of trying to push into this, and we'll form a lot of resistance right now. But the hourly candle looks really, really interesting. So let's just set everything up right now and just wait for price to do its thing here. Where from? I'm from the Netherlands. How do you stay so patient? Well, trust me, what can come up right now can also flush down in a second. So whatever looks far away is suddenly not far away. You guys probably know how the market moves right here. So, you know, whenever you see the prices right now, like moving away from your end, from my buy limit, for example, how many times did we see that before? Let me know if you guys are coming here a lot. Then you probably have seen this before, right? Like we set limit orders. It looks like we'll never get there. And then boom, like 1-2 candles and price gets back to that point. That point of interest immediately. So it's crazy. But yeah, that's definitely what's happening. Dollar is coming down kind of aggressively though. That's good. It is very good. And it's also very good that we are actually bouncing strongly from the 4,400, because if we would lose the 4,400 on gold, The next level that really makes sense is the 4320, I think. It's way lower, that's for sure. Absolutely way lower. Somewhere like that. Do you use bookmap for liquidity levels? Not really, man. Not really. Not necessarily, no. Lorenzo, what have you been doing today? I've been working a lot. I've been working with the people. I had so many calls today with a lot of new members from our group, which is amazing. We had like an introduction call, was very good, with a couple guys. And yeah, got to know each other. I go on a call with every person individually for 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to see where they are, to get to know them a little bit, so I can I kind of know what to expect when I work with them, etc. Kind of like an introduction call. It's very nice. And I was looking at a new laptop. I am looking at a new laptop. Matter of fact, I sold my MacBook, believe it or not. I sold my MacBook. And guess what I'm buying? I'm buying a Windows laptop. Yes, sir. Your boy is back. Yeah, your boy is back. Back in the game. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. We can actually add on another contract, by the way. I just forgot. We have enough room for another contract right there. Sorry. You don't like MacBooks? I do like MacBooks, but nope. I'm moving. I'm moving back to where it all started, and that is to the nice old freaking Windows, my friends. The nice old Windows. I love it. In case you want to know what I'm gonna buy this one right now. Okay. I am obsessed. I am obsessed. You know, when you're looking at some specifications of laptops, etc., and your whole feed is suddenly all about new laptop models, etc. You probably know what I'm talking about. Okay. But look at this beauty right there, my friends. Look at this. Look at this beauty right there. You gotta love it. If you are a trader, this is the one you want. This is what you want. And the moment I saw that, I was like, why do I have a MacBook? Why do I even have a MacBook when you can have this right here? Imagine me traveling around this summer, having that, streaming with that. How easy would that be? So much better, man. So much better. Yeah, it's called the Asus ZenBook Duo 2026 two beautiful screens right there. Only $3,000. You gotta want it though. You gotta want it. Okay? Unbelievable. Anyways, we're pulling back. All right, my friends, let's make it happen. I have the ZenBook Duo and the MacBook Pro. The only issue is the battery. Yeah, I heard about that, but the 2026 model, which is coming out in 3 months from now, to be honest, the 2026 model is going to be an upgraded version of that battery. So I've done all the work. I'm fully updated about all the specifications right now. So I'll take the risk. I'll take that risk. Happily take that risk. Yeah. Let's see if it becomes the biggest mistake of my life. We'll figure that out. Is it possible for price to push back down to that 19 level? Yes, of course, definitely. We are clearly at resistance right here. You know, you could need to look for the pullback sells, like I said before, like in this, around this area. But the hourly close is kind of giving us a tell. It's kind of giving us something to work with right now, which I actually really like. And that is the fact that we are reacting from the daily level right now. We were definitely undervalued when we tapped into the daily level. Price is setting up for something. Okay, look at that. Setting up for something. A reversal, maybe. Let's see. But the most important part is the fact that we are pulling back, that the hourly candle is closed below. We have a lot of sellers being stuck there. We closed above it. So we saw a large absorption of sellers actually, because when people try to sell price into the daily support, not knowing that there is that strong daily support level there, the 4,400. Okay, this is where usually like a large absorption comes into play here, and it's definitely aggressive sellers. It is not necessarily people taking profit. Okay. Yeah, and then it's always like, yeah, but price can never come back to your buy limit. Well, the amount of times, and I gotta admit, I also made this mistake a couple times on the streams where like, I thought like, oh, gold is so far, it will never pull back to my level. So let's move the level up a little bit higher, like to that next level. And then what happens? Gold gets back to that level, to my initial limit, that initial entry. We've seen it happening so many times. Lorenzo, how much gym time for that shirt to be that tight? No comment. Good question. Well, for some reason, there's one problem that I'm facing. Because yes, I'm training a lot right now. I'm going to the gym, you know, multiple days a week consistently for the past year. Like really, really hard now. Especially because I'm working with an injury in my lower back. I have a lower back injury from boxing. So I decided to go to the gym, etc., to work on it and all that stuff. So yeah, a lot of benefits. But after the stream, there's one problem I have. And that is after the live stream, when my adrenaline comes down, I get extremely hungry. Extremely hungry. Every freaking time. And you know, when I stop the stream, it's like 10, 11 p.m. You know what I mean? So I get hungry at 11 p.m. And then what? I order something at 11 p.m. Right? You know how it goes. You know how it goes. What is the level on spot? I think the level on spot is, what I'm looking at least right now, is 21. Yeah, 4421. That's the level I'm watching right now. If you pull back to that level, right? 4421, yeah. Shadows, Razoo, my friend, how are you doing, man? Under concept, hang on the bar for 30 seconds to 1 minute. After you finish your workout, decompress your spine. That's a very good point. But yeah, I do a lot of lower back exercises. And definitely some stretching as well. So it definitely makes a difference already. I definitely notice a big improvement right now, you know? And it's like obvious because I'm like boxing before, and then for the rest, I'm just sitting behind the charts all day long, computer, right? It's a bad combination. So like all that sitting is not good for you. At some point in time, I was thinking about buying. I have a standing desk, but buying literally a runner, or how do you call that? Something to walk on while I'm streaming with you guys. But I was like, nah, that's that's a bit too gay, sorry. Couldn't do it. Couldn't pull the trigger. Anyways, guys, the reason one more time for this balance for me personally is the fact that we bounced from daily demand, daily support, very important level. We are seeing a good solid retracement right now, a pullback, which is great. Okay, I'm a big fan of it. The main thing right now is that there is a large amount of volume traded right here. Okay, so if you look at the hourly candle one more time, this is the most important. 4,000 contracts executed, minus 339 negative delta, okay? Minus 339 negative delta, right around there, okay? So what I want to see is the retest of that, okay? I want a retest of that negative delta, 339. That means that in this candle, there were so many trapped sellers. And I was actually waiting already for the past 2 days for a setup like that. Or sorry, yesterday all day long I was waiting for something like that to see in the market that would give me something like what I'm seeing right now. Okay, so the amount of patience sometimes you need is ridiculous. But now I'm seeing it very clearly. And that is that we are reacting from a higher time frame level. And on that level, okay, we look at what happens on that level. Well, a lot of sellers got absorbed because a lot of volume was traded in this in this hourly candle. And in this hourly candle, the most volume was traded right here, okay? Right here. And where did the candle close? The candle closed right there. You see that? So the candle closed above those sellers, where a lot of negative delta was traded, a lot of volume was traded. So usually when you're at support, specifically the daily support, higher time frame support or demand or like, you know, higher time frame point of interest, okay? And this happens, it could mean that this will turn, if we pull back into this level, into an area of support. So it's a very clean entry stop loss placement type of setup right there, okay? And it's worth to look for reversal plays, right? Right around that area. And this is kind of what we hopefully are gonna see, right? That reversal or that reaction into that level. This is at the 19, okay? And if you would look at a standard, typical retail, quote unquote, retail pattern, right? We call that a retail pattern, right? Then this would mean a higher low right now for potential breakout, right? And it looks like, I forgot how it looks like an inverted, a triple bottom, yeah. A triple bottom. Now the dollar is not doing anything. It's not looking that promising right now. Like I said, it's not as important as it is on regular days. We're still dealing with the futures expiration, right? But for me, that buy limit makes a lot of sense right now, personally. So I'm willing to bet on that limit. The question is, do I want to short towards this, right? That's always a tricky question. Like, why don't you then short towards that zone if you think it's going to get there? I'm not saying that I think it's going to get there. What I'm saying is, if it's there, I'm willing to take a long. That's it. I'm willing to take a long. Is it because I see an inverted head and shoulders that I want to enter? No. It is because of the absorption that's taking place right there of sellers with high volume in that candle. At a daily level of support. Yeah. 50x0 says back issues are core. Our core issues are back tightens because our core is weak. Work the form and the back will feel better. The front and the back will feel better. Use to re-up lower back pain in an osteopath. Also true. Completely true. We have been really working really hard on the core too. It's completely correct what you're saying. Ever since I started to train my core a lot more, but specifically focus on it, not just like trade it as a side piece, right? A side quest. No, actual focus on my core. It helped me also with my back. So yeah, you know, I'm very happy to see this improvement right now, because at some point in time I was like, oh man, I might need some surgery or something, or like doctor or whatever the case may be. It was getting really bad, but now it's almost gone, literally almost gone. Okay, so that's very good. And when I was boxing, I was weighing around 80. Yeah, when I was boxing, like completely like full-time boxing, all the, like, you know, seriously boxing, I was weighing around 80, 83, 84 kilograms. Okay. Now I am 95, 96 kilograms. Okay. So there was also a lot more weight that I had to deal with right now, that I have to take with me. Right? So I gain around like 10 kilograms at least. Yeah, a little bit more. I think that's like what, 20 pounds? We got a lot of awesome people in the chat. Thank you for your advice. I really appreciate that. Can you check Bitcoin, please, bro? Yes, we can do that in the meantime while we're waiting here. While I'm waiting for the potential setup. 74.9 right now, right? Wow. All set daily support as well. Looks very similar to gold, actually. It looks very similar to gold. We tapped it at 4 hours a month. Sorry. Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, overall looks like we're at 75. I think we are also in the same important zone right now. I just got a message actually. Kind of funny that you mentioned this here because it's actually so true. I think we're in extreme fear right now. Extreme fear on Bitcoin right now. Okay, I think so. We are at extreme fear. Fear and greed. It's already at 35. Okay, I thought it was lower. I thought it was lower, but it's at 35. We're getting to that extreme territory. So the lower we're getting, the more interesting it will become. But no, this does not necessarily look strong. But also here, we're still in support right now, man. That's it. Don't really want to overcomplicate it right now. Okay, yes, we're the bearish, daily structure is bearish, but you just reached a major level of support right here as well. Okay. Are you only trading gold? Yes, only gold right now. And you might think why? Because gold right now is just, you know, is bad. It's like in a range or it's very uncertain. It is a little bit different market condition, but we all know that if you don't focus on gold and you take away your attention from it, okay, here it comes. You take away your attention from gold for a period of time, you're gonna miss out on some monstrous opportunities. And in order to capitalize on that, okay, you need to be prepared. It's a mental preparation. You need to master something before you go. And for example, if you go to the daily time frame, remember when gold was pushing and pushing and pushing, okay? I bet so many people that were not trading gold consistently were missing out on this whole move or started to enter at the top here, maybe at the top here. So they got only a fraction of this huge push to the upside with the cleanest price action possible, right? The cleanest price action. And they just got a glimpse of that because they were focusing on too many different setups, too many different things at the same time. That's a huge lesson. Because if you prepared and you're willing to go through the cold, to the winter, the spring is around the corner. All right? The spring is around the corner. So this is a good example of being mentally prepared and ready for, you know, things like that. The dollar looks very, very weak right now, though. I have to admit that. The dollar looks very, very weak. Sellers again getting nicely observed here, but we keep the limit where it is. Which one is the best trader? Trading prop firm or your own capital? Trading own capital is always the best. It's always the most fun. Let's be honest. But prop firm trading is definitely something that, especially if you're learning a system and you're testing things, and it's always the best to start with, for sure. You learn how to deal with risk, how to manage risk better. You don't necessarily lose your own money with like huge forces, you know. Yeah, man. I would say that prop firm trading is definitely something that every trader could have done. So I think it's good. It's good for you to like experience, to deal with rules and things like that. You learn how to deal with risk a little bit differently, right? And it can help you also kickstart your trading journey as well. If you don't have the capital, it can also help you with building capital. And it still gives you a feeling that even though you trade simulated capital or like demo money, that there is a reward. You have some sort of reward for it, right? It's actually a good alternative if you are new to trading and you're in a learning curve. To just trade prop firms and maybe work towards some payouts and then start building your own account, your personal account. New to this, how long are you holding on average when you buy? It totally depends on the situation. It totally depends on the condition. There is no strict rule. There are a lot of variables. Sometimes I'm in and out. Sometimes I'm holding on to the setup. It all depends on the market condition that day, right? That week. Specifically the last 20 trading days. So the last month and the last 5 trading days. Kind of get an understanding of where we are and what the best way of dealing with the market is, for example. Lorenzo, are there still spots for the program? There are still spots for the program. We have around I don't know exactly how many, to be honest. I have to talk to my team. I don't know exactly how many spots there are still open, but it's not many. It is not many. We are almost full right now. Yes. We're a little bit flat, but let's see if we can make it happen here, if we can pull back. There's definitely still some resistance now as well. If you look in the hourly time frame, you can definitely see how price is not fully there yet. Yeah, let's see where the volume is now. Yeah, you might be Let's see what happens here, but it will be very interesting. I can guarantee you that. So Philo says, yo, I've been trading on a demo account and I grew my account from 3,000 to 10,000. Okay. Oh, 1 second, man. There we go. Yes. Yo, I grew my account from 3,000 to 10,000. Should I switch to a live account or should I go to a funded account instead? I mean, the reality is, my friend, demo is still demo, okay? Demo is still demo. It's great that you actually turned it from 3,000 to 10,000. The only thing is right now, what I think makes sense is that, yeah, the question is, how did you treat the demo account? That's actually the true question that you need to ask yourself, honestly. Like, did you treat the demo account with 100% seriousness? Like, and then when I say seriousness, did you really want to do things correctly? Were you kind of emotionally invested into the demo account, yes or no? If you say no, I don't really care if I really lost the trade, well, then you have your answer already, because that means that you are not emotionally invested. And if you're not emotionally invested, then you don't know what will happen once you will become emotionally invested. That's what you're trying to avoid. Okay, so you need to make sure that when you go from demo to live, okay, that you have that experience. But this is why prop firms in many ways are a good hybrid, because it allows you still to become relatively emotionally invested, even though you're trading simulated capital, right? That's the reason why I think prop firms are actually a good thing in many ways for many traders to begin with and to work with. It's kind of the in-between step. It's better than a demo because there still is an incentive for you, but it's still simulated capital. So you know what you're willing to lose, right? You buy the challenge and okay, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So it's kind of in the middle. So it totally depends. Some people trade their demo like a real account, but in reality, to be honest with you, it will always be slightly different. It will be a slightly different experience than trading real life money. There's nothing like it. Yeah. Can you recommend a prop? I would say FundedNext. There's a link in the description as well if you want to use my code, Lorenzo. You have a CFD brokers, you have futures broker, or sorry, CFD challenges and futures challenges, whatever you trade. And they have been working their way to the top, in my opinion, right now. This is why I wanted to work with them, because they are pretty much the guys that have been working their way to the top here. Yeah. I barely promote it, to be honest. I barely promote anything on my channel. I have like a lounge. I work with a small group of people once every 6 weeks. So I have like a lounge week, and then that's pretty much it. But yeah, I do have a link in the description if you're interested in it. Oh, the dollar. Dollar is back, baby. The dollar is back up. Perfect. That's exactly what we needed right now, actually. That is actually exactly what we needed right now. The dollar pushing higher. You see, gold barely reacts to this, by the way. Usually, when the dollar would come and give you a candle that looks like that, okay? A 15-minute candle. Like this. What do you think usually would happen on gold? Gold would drop 5%. Seriously, right? Like, for real. Not 5%, but you get the point, right? It would absolutely tank. Today, it doesn't really react to it. Okay? Doesn't really react to it. So, this has to do with the contract expirations that are taking place today. It's shifting. It's shifting a little bit here. Yeah, look at the dollar. Wow, that is a monster, by the way. And that is because of the following reason. Oh no, sorry, my bad. We have some news right now. I'm just watching it. I guess Trump is speaking. Trump participates in a cabinet meeting at 11 a.m. At 11 a.m. Is that for real? Yes, that is absolutely the truth, guys. We're gonna see Trump speaking soon, and we have our limit order set, so it's gonna be party time today. It's gonna be a party. Trump speaking, limit order set. Dollar pushing, like its life depends on it. Yeah. We're back, baby. Okay, that changes the dynamic of the stream. So yeah. This can be very good or very bad. This can be very good or very bad. It depends on what the outcome will be here. But let's focus on the setup. Let's focus on now the order flow. Let's set the risk. And yeah. Yeah. What is he talking about in the cabinet? I don't really know for sure. I could assume, and I'm just gonna check it actually. It's a good question. We have to really make sure that we know what is happening here. Let's just ask Grok. Okay. Let's ask Grok. Because Grok is updated, always updated, because Grok runs on X. All right. So we get these quick daily updates quickly through Grok. So let's ask, what's as president on president cap meeting? What will he most likely talk about today? Don't say Iran. Don't say Iran. The Iran conflict and related negotiations will most likely dominate today's cabinet meeting. Yeah. Yeah. Lorenzo, I asked you 3 times. I won the account giveaway 2 days ago. What will happen finally? Yeah, I messaged you. Yeah, we had a conversation yesterday on Instagram. Correct, my friend? We talked about it already. Things will be arranged, my friend. All right. Okay, we're hanging there. Yeah, look at the dollar. Major, right? But the thing is, keep in mind, this is before he starts speaking. Okay? This is the only thing that makes me want to keep the limit order open right now. It's because this move is happening before. Okay? Not after, it's before he starts speaking. And if you have seen what happened over the last, I don't know, 20 times, usually when we see something happening beforehand, kind of builds a disbelief here. So I'm gonna give it a shot today, regardless. Risk is managed, yes. But well, risk is managed. I need to set that stall stop right there. But yeah, no, clearly. They are talking about ending the war. Yeah, well, let's hope that will be the case. Like I said, indeed, I think it is the main objection or the main incentive for that call here. President Trump is holding a cabinet meeting at the White House today. Multiple news sources indicated the primary focus is the ongoing war/negotiations with Iran, including efforts to finalize a peace deal, reopen the Strait of Hormuz, manage a fragile ceasefire, address Iran's nuclear program, and handle related economic impact like oil prices and sanctions. So yeah, the dollar is absolutely tanking, pushing super hard right now, right before the actual meeting itself. So yeah. There's no way I'm gonna move the limit. Also not up. Definitely not up right now with this news coming. Okay. Absolutely not. There is no chance. Let's see what oil is doing as well. Oil, same thing, came up as well. Same thing, 10-year yield, very flat, right? This is also interesting. The yield itself is flat. So it's the dollar moving, it's oil moving. Yeah, it's very interesting. It is very interesting. And I think it makes sense that we're slowly dripping down right now. Yeah, before that actual speech or before that meeting. Where did you find the fact that he's speaking? Right here. Look at the financial juice. You can always find the latest information right there, right? So yeah, Trump participates in a cabinet meeting at 11, right? So this is why we're looking at that exact and yeah, indeed, when doing some research, you can see exactly where it's about. The Iran conflict, okay? The Iran conflict. Strait of Hormuz, NATO rules in crises. Yep. Overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing. The valuation is coming down. 15 minutes. We are actually not doing that bad as well. And by the way, we actually saw that bullish divergence while tapping into the daily support right here. So we had lower lows on price and higher highs on our valuation tool. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, we're getting there. Let's see. We want to get there. We want to get back towards the 19. In my opinion, 19 would be the ideal. Yeah, it's actually at the 20 point there, yeah. Okay. Where do you have your buy limit set? I have a buy limit set at... on spot, you mean? I have a buy limit set at 4420.46, to be exact. 4420.46. Yes. Yeah. I mean, let's see, man, with the cabinet meeting coming, etc. We're looking at the order flow. We're looking at these hourly zone, the hourly zone. We're looking at the valuation. We're looking at the daily level. The dollar as well, pushing higher before the meeting. It's always a bit tricky. So yeah, no, I'm actually liking the setup. I like the setup. Yeah, just need to be very patient, I guess. But I do like it. But yeah, unless Trump starts talking about Iran and the bad party, the bad side of it, then the whole script flips, of course, because then we'll see the dollar continuously pushing higher and oil pushing higher. The yields pushing up as well, and that is not going to be good for gold, of course. Yeah. Yeah, the major push from the dollar has already been taking place as well on oil. So you can see this right now. Oil is holding up much stronger, clearly, than gold is doing right now. Sorry, than the dollar is doing. Yeah. Hi, Lorenzo. I'm currently using Wise and I'm happy with the service. However, the Wise Visa debit card doesn't appear to be available in my country, Qatar. Could you please advise? Thank you. Do you need to have a physical card? You don't really need it these days, in my opinion. You know that I actually have 0 cards with me, ever. I never use my cards anymore. I use my phone. That's it. So you could get like a virtual card, if that's your question, right? Do they give you a virtual card? If so, just use Apple Pay or use your phone, right? It is the most efficient, in my opinion. Like the only time when I use my card, my actual card, is if I need cash. And I barely need cash. You know what's crazy? When we're talking about gold right now, right? When gold was here, right? Let's be honest, okay? Let's say we were here, right? Let's say we are here. All right? This one right there. Okay? And you see this, right? And we place our limit order right here. Okay? Then you're like, yeah, crazy. It's never gonna come. It's never gonna come back. It's never gonna go there again. It's gonna go now. It's gonna fly. Right? Let's be honest. Well, there we are. There we are, my friend. There we are. And not that far away from it. So, let's see. Trump says, if you think Iran has a nuclear, yeah, then we're, if he talks about nuclear weapons with Iran, then we have a big problem. If he talks about the peace deal not continuing, we have a problem. I agree. Yes. Yeah, so the reason why I'm saying this is because if you see this and you think, oh, it's never going to go back, right? And let's talk about your emotions for a sector psychology here. The amount of times when I see this before, okay? And then here I'm like, yeah, we're never going to go back. It's going to go now. It's going to go. It's going to go without me. It's going to leave me behind. And then what do I do? What do I do? I randomly find a reason to enter there. Okay? I don't know what reason, but I will find a reason. I'll find any reason to just allow me to enter right there. Okay? And then price comes down. And then it gets actually to the pullback. I've seen it now so many times. So many times. Yes. Why are we buying against the news? I mean, there is no news yet. There is no news yet. Yeah, would I suggest you limit your risk? Yes, I think it's smart to do. I do think it's a good setup in general. Okay, unfortunate truth is we do have Trump speaking again. But again, like besides Trump speaking, regardless, you could get news at any given moment right now. At any given moment in time, a red flag or a red folder could pop up here right now. causing gold to spike up or down, the dollar to spike up or down, oil to spike up or down. I mean, it's gonna happen anyways. Yeah, the good old days when we didn't have to worry about any news except for the FOMC, the CPI, and the NFP. That's it. That was the only thing, guys, that we had to worry about. And we knew exactly what time it would come, how big of the impact it most likely will have. And for the rest, it was regular trading. Think about that. Think about that time period where you don't have any geopolitical news for years. It was only about the FOMC, the NFP, and the CPI. That's it. We were so spoiled back then, and we didn't even realize it. I think we took it for granted. We absolutely took it for granted. So let this be a lesson. And I'm talking to the experienced traders right here. Okay, the people that have been trading for a couple of years right now, that know what I'm talking about. We took it for granted, my friends. We took it for granted. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah. The unfortunate truth is, though, that a really bad situation in the world, and this is the unfortunate truth, is that a really bad situation in the world, like what we saw in 2020, right, with COVID, etc., a really bad situation in the world often led to the best market conditions, or it often led to the biggest opportunities in the market. Because the moment they start printing trillions of dollars and it gets injected into the economy, everyone was getting filthy rich at the time. And it felt like a dream for a lot of traders, a lot of investors, a lot of crypto traders, crypto investors. But yeah, unfortunately, that's how the world works. We have to accept that. What do you do now? Do we not trade because of this or what? Yeah, so the main reason why I'm looking at this, I'm seeing this zone as a very important zone that I want to look at. I do want to see how we react at the 4419. It will be a very important level, in my opinion, a very important area of interest right now. I see that the variation is starting to line up too. The dollar was pushing also before the actual move right here. Okay, this was the dollar pushing before the meeting, whatever the case may be. We're slowly creeping down right now. I mean, it's for me personally, it's worth a try. Like, I know what I'm willing to do here, what I'm willing to risk here, etc. So I will be willing to give it a shot right now. Like, most importantly, the daily support is a real level that we've talked about at the 4400. This is such a major level. I think there was so much shorting happening in this area that I'm just very interested what will happen here when price retraces back into this zone. How were these old days? I'm new to trading. Wow, if you're new to trading and you just experienced this market condition, then you have, you have definitely missed out on different ways different markets move for sure. But in the end, right? In the end, markets eventually always turn back to its origin. It always will start coming back. And it's just a moment in time right now that you're going to go through. And actually, you should see it this way. If you learn in these conditions right now, you're actually learning the most, okay? You're learning the most because no matter how good the market was in August, September, October, November, December, there are a lot of people that make a lot of money and lose it all because the market's shifting and adapting to new market conditions. And this is normal too. You need to go through that phase and it's normal, and that will make you a much better trader. So if you start now and the market then turns around and it starts pushing, right, and it starts getting cleaner and cleaner, you are prepared. You are fully prepared. Isn't your stop loss too tight now? Not really. I don't think so. I think that we are... like, I don't want it to break below this level. I don't want it to come down lower. It has to be right below, in my opinion, this level. I don't want it to break it. Specifically like the 4408 or something like that. But the stop loss is already below it. But I actually don't even want to break. I don't even want to see gold breaking this zone. So yeah, there is no need for me to even have a really large stop loss here. The only unfortunate thing that could happen is that you get wicked because of some, you know, of this event, for example, the news event, and yeah, that could be that's kind of the risk that could happen. But yeah, the setup stays the setup. It's the same setup. So keep following that same exact setup and entry. It's a specific entry. And just follow up with this exact entry and trust that process over time, right? Trust that execution over time. By the way, thank you guys for the 129,000. We reached the 129,000 today. We started at 128,895. We are now at 129,274. I appreciate you guys. That means we're very close to the 130,000. Thank you. Yeah, the whole market's waiting for Trump. Yes, I know. I know. It's gonna be an interesting one. Let's see today how trustworthy the 9 a.m. hourly candle is. Imke says, Imker09. I was so broke. I do so much bad stuff in life, so I have a proper mindset now. I understand that every trader face. You probably talk about that every trader faced that same issue. Yes, I will not do the same. I don't want to waste more time. I am sure will not. That's it. That's the point you want to reach. That's the exact point you want to reach. You want to reach the point of almost want to give up, but not giving up. Because you're not built like that. By the way, Lorenzo, how do you set up multiple stop losses in one position on TradingView? Do you use futures? Do you trade futures? Let me know. Okay. If you trade futures, then the only thing you can do is, let's say you take a buy limit here of 5 contracts. Then you could put, for example, the stop loss of 3 contracts there. Okay. If you get hit, you still have 2 contracts long. Right? Then you can put another 2 below that, for example. Right there. Okay. And that equals 5, right? So that's how you can do it. You can just place your stop loss then whenever you want. So you just place your buy limits and your sell stops, or your sell limits and your buy stops. Or if you are in a market, just place your sell stops or buy stops wherever it is. Very simple. It's very easy. It's actually very nice to trade on TradingView. It is actually very nice. It is very nice. And this is also one of the reasons why I'm tempted to just go completely to futures and leave my old Windows 98 platform MetaTrader 5 behind, because it's so beneficial to trade just on TradingView these days. It's so clean. And you get used to it so quickly. Can you trade a TopStep account to TradingView, or is it still separate? No, TopStep is separated. But yeah, you have TopStep X, right? It looks like TradingView. It's pretty similar. Is Trump talking? Not yet. No, not yet. Highly recommend you to reduce your risk here, by the way, because this is, you know, anything is possible with news right now. Regardless, okay, do take this in consideration. The reason why I'm willing to do this, I'm willing to do this because I know this type of setup. I personally like this type of setup. I still want to give it a try, but also, yes, I have also reduced my risk by half. Okay, it's only 0.5 lots instead of 1 lot. You can look at all my previous trades here. It's pretty much all 1 1 2 2 2 1 1 2 1 1 1 1 1 2. Okay. So yes, it's reduced by half right now. The risk. So do take that in consideration. It is a Trump scenario, but for me the setup is something I'm willing to try because it can also provide with a lot of opportunity right now if it makes sense. And one thing as well was the dollar pushing up higher. Before the actual event took place. So if it happens, it happens. If it goes, it goes. Whatever the case may be here, let's just leave it up right now. Let's not, most importantly, chase anything. Not chase any breakout, nothing right now. Not willing to do that. Either it gets to my level and we'll see what happens, or it does not. And yeah, it's also fine when Trump is doing its thing right now. LMM Karen Aaron says, every minute I was crying like a child because I was only 16 or 17. I give time to understand and accept what in reality I was smoking weed and drinking. Now I'm 18 and I quit all of these. Welcome to your new beginning, my friend. Your new reality. Yes? Good job, my friend. That's some serious commitment that you have to go through. You're turning from a boy to a man. You quit all that shit. You focus on what is needed. You reset your dopamine system. It's exactly what you need to do right now. Perfect time to do so. So, good job, my friend. Keep it up. The chat got your back. Don't tell me you don't see the camera, right? And this guy too, he knows millions of people are watching it right now. He knows it. Just want to show off a little bit. That's okay, it's okay. One of the big lessons, if you want to go really deep into like your dopamine system, etc., it does have a major impact on your trading. That is a fact. Okay, so if you are, for example, smoking weed or something, do take in consideration that your dopamine factors are through the roof. Your receptors are through the roof, are getting triggered at a high. Okay, so it allows you, trading-wise, to make very silly mistakes. It makes you less effective, 100%. Yes, it makes you more chill. I get it. It's very nice to sit in front of the charts and to smoke a blunt. I get it. But it's not effective. It's not going to work. It's going to actually screw you over more than it will not. Okay? So, if you are a serious trader and you want to change the game, then stay far, 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 far away from it. Okay? It's not going to be as beneficial, okay? You can say, yeah, it might make me relaxed. Yeah, sure, it makes you relaxed. It makes you too relaxed. It makes you so relaxed that you don't care about the outcome anymore. Jepco Trade says, since I started taking peptides, my trading is so much better. Tell me about it. Yeah, the peptides, yes. Now, I think it's actually very interesting. It is very, very interesting. I know a lot of people who are on red tattoo trade right now. Yes, I am clearly not, because I am, yeah, a bit chubby lately. HSN here says, my G, I've been following you for a whole year now. I recently passed the 100K funded because of you. Thank you. I appreciate it. But congratulations, you did it yourself, not me. So well done, man. How do you use Orderflow for big stop loss trading? I thought it worked good for scalpers only. Because you can look at the Orderflow on the 1 hour time frame, on the 4 hour time frame, on the daily time frame, on the weekly time frame, and of course on the 15 minute, the 5 minute, the 1 minute, whatever you want. But I have the 5 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, and the weekly here. And we're actually in a weekly zone right now. We're actually in a weekly order flow zone. You could actually call this a weekly imbalance, a weekly seller's imbalance. This is what we are reacting from. Okay, why is this important? This is a weekly candle. Okay, and in that weekly candle, the most volume was traded in between the 4417 and the 4382. Okay, and this is where more sellers than buyers were entering the market. These were all sellers, by the way. Massive green candle, and this is the first real retest of the point of control of that trading week, and that is there. And this is where we are right now. So when we said and we talked about the daily level at 4400, it is actually also a weekly order flow sellers imbalance, where a lot of sellers got stuck in their trades. And we're reacting from the point of control of it, when the most volume was traded. So this is where we are reacting from. Okay, if you take this to the daily, you can see it much clearer. Look at that. All those trapped sellers here, the candle closed green. Do you see that? So this is what we call the order flow footprint chart. Okay, and this shows you the buyers and sellers on each side. So the left side are the sellers, to keep it very simple. Okay, and the right side are the buyers, right here. Okay, now you have a highlighted zone and a non-highlighted zone, similar to the volume profile, remember? So this is like your non-highlighted zone, and this is like your highlighted zone. So this is actually the value area. So we've talked about the volume profile and everything, okay? This is what we call the value area of the daily. In this case, of March 24th, so 2 months ago. Okay, so that daily candle had a really aggressively bullish closure because we closed green, we closed here, but all these sellers aggressively entered there. So what happened? Those sellers got stuck in their position. Interesting. So if we would mark out a box right there, we would highlight those sellers, and we would actually mark out a box right now, and we'll take that zone and we'll highlight it and we draw it out over the chart. Okay, and we use the value area, that highlighted area. Then look at what happened, right? We acted as support, acted as support, acted as support. Okay, it acted as support, and this is the first time since then that we are there, and we're reacting from it again. Okay, well, that makes sense. So this is where we are on the daily. You have the weekly, you have the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. And the 1 hour candle is when we are in that support on gold right here. Okay, now you can actually see that in the hourly candle itself, more sellers took place, so it becomes a zone as well. And that is our buy limit. That is our buy limit right around there. This is why I have my buy limit set right there. It aligns with the weekly, the daily. Now the hourly, seller stepped in. Now I'm looking to enter there, right? This is why I have my limit set around that level, pretty much. Okay, well, that makes sense. But it aligns with the higher time frame also, okay? And now we're gonna find out if this is gonna help us with our reaction, okay? So it's the weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour as well. So the conclusion to your question is, can you use order flow on the higher time frame? And can you have bigger stop losses because of that? Yes, you can, clearly. And this is what a lot of order flow traders miss out on, in my opinion. They don't look at the footprint on the higher time frame, which is maybe even, it's so incredibly valuable to find the right moment, the right levels, okay? But usually it does align with a major level, like the 4400 in this case, which is a daily level, right? Things like that. So yeah, that is an important level to look for. And in the end, it's all about supply and demand, right? It's all about finding fair value every single day. That's it. Supply and demand. Who's in control? Buyers or sellers? Okay. Fair value, right? Are we operating in fair value? Are we trading outside of the fair value? Okay. If we know that, then we can answer that question. Then we know where the best opportunities are. Is Trump live already? I don't think so. No. He's still... It could happen at any time, and I think the volume will increase, and it will be, like I said, a riskier trade. We already know it in advance, so I reduce my risk by half. A quarter, actually, sometimes, because sometimes I risk 2 lots. And this is a 0.5 lot, okay? So it's actually very doable. But I do want to give it a try, because if this is indeed what he's going to say, positive, then, and the setup that we're seeing gives us an indication, right? And we have been selling off all day long, and we're seeing this reversal play now in real time with these order flow confirmations, and Trump says something positive. Yeah, man, it is just worth giving it a try. In my opinion, it's worth it, but with lower risk. So you never know. You never know with Trump. You never know with the news. But I do want to give it a try personally, because just in general. If the setup is there and things are aligning, and there is indeed a chance, there is a lot of speculation around a potential peace deal, you want to call it. So let's see. What is the name of the order flow? It's the Xau charts, right? Thank you, John, by the way, for mentioning it as well. It's called the Xau charts. The problem is, though, if you open the Xau charts, it looks like this. So let's just open a random chart. Let's go to futures. Let's go to the COMEX. Let's open up whatever you want, gold. And we'll open up the new contract, the Q. And then it looks like this. If it loads, it will look like this. Okay? Now, if I see this, I have no clue what's happening here. Like, if you ask me, yo, what's going on here? Like, I couldn't even tell you what's going on here, okay? I couldn't even tell you what is actually happening here. It's an absolute disaster. And yeah, so it's very tough to set these things up correctly. You need to know someone that has the right tools, the settings for you, because you can turn it from that ugly looking chart to something very clean like this, configured perfectly. Okay. So yeah, it takes some time to set up. It's totally worth it though. It's totally worth it. Oh, we're getting there. Slowly and steadily. Very slowly though. Yeah, let's see if we can actually still squeeze down. I think we're waiting for the volume to increase. It's very interesting that the dollar, though, moves up before the actual move itself right now. Or, sorry, before the move itself, before Trump's meeting. You never know if that's a sustainable, quote-unquote, sustainable move. But we'll see. Gold does not come as much as down as much as that the dollar is actually pushing higher. Yeah. Typical New York session, ladies and gentlemen. So I can say we're just very patient. I'm just really right now in patient mode too here. Again, the stream is much longer than usual. Usually I stream at 8 a.m. EST. I started a bit later today, 9 a.m. EST, a little bit later. But we're still streaming right now, 2 hours and 30 minutes already. And I'm still waiting. I am still waiting. Yeah, we all know what's going to happen here. Trump's going to speak soon, and then the move will start. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Take this trade with a little bit of a grain of salt. The setup itself, from a technical perspective, in my opinion, and everything that comes with that, pretty much all lines up with exactly what we're talking about. So that to me is not an issue whatsoever. It's actually very, very nice. I really do like it. The daily, the weekly, the 1 hour, they all look amazing. So it's all about right now, are we going to see some crazy spikes, some crazy wicks? That's pretty much it. Yeah, one thing is for certain, right? It was so easy to chase the market here and thinking it's going to go to the moon. And then it comes down and we're not that far away. Even right now, this is another layer that I see a lot of traders make the mistake of the following, for example. They see the market here. Let's say it's here, okay? Let's actually do that. Let's just show you what I mean. So let's say the market is right there, okay? We're right here. And then you see your entry. So imagine this, your limit order is right here, okay? Yeah, your limit order is exactly there. Then, next candle pushes up higher. Next candle pushes up higher, right? You think, oh no, this is the higher low. Yeah, this is the higher low. And then what? It comes down, my friends. It comes down. It comes down and down and down and down and down. So we're not going to chase, especially right now with Trump. No chance. No chance. We cannot allow ourselves to get into that trap. Anyways, he is talking. Shall we listen a little bit? Let's just listen a little bit here. Let me turn off the music for a second. Let's see if it's possible to listen to what my man himself has to say.
Illegally, 0 illegal aliens admitted to the United States in the last 12 months, and those charts are made by, you would say, politically unfriendly people. And the reason they don't come in is because nobody comes up, because they know that they're going to be turned away, and if they get in, they're going to be moved out right away. So it's been 0. You're the one that do the reports. I'm actually surprised by the number because I don't know how it can be.
Okay, number one, by the way, the only thing that we're looking for, Iran, Strait of Hormuz, NATO. That's it.
0, but they say it's 0 for the last 12 months. In 2025, we achieved the largest drop in the murder rate ever recorded. So the murder rate was quite high, and we achieved the largest drop in the murder rate ever recorded to the lowest level in 125 years. That's the year 1900. And that's despite the fact that many people came in from prisons and from very rough countries and from mental institutions and from lots of other places, drug dealers and others. They came in illegally during the Biden administration. We've gotten many of them out. but we still have some that we're looking for, quite a few that we're still looking for, but we've gotten over 11,888 murderers were allowed into our country. We've gotten a lot of them out. We've gotten some, we put them in jail. We don't even trust the country to send them because they'll come back in maybe. We put them in jail. 11,888 murders, more than half of which have committed more than one murder. That's what they allowed in. They can never be forgotten for the horrible things they've done to this country. Fentanyl coming across our border is now down by 61%. 61%. And coming in by water, by sea, by ocean is down 97%. Can you imagine? Thanks to our Republican tax cuts, putting more money in Americans' pockets this year, the typical family got tax refunds of nearly almost close to $5,000. The stock market has set 68 all-time record highs since the election.
The stock market.
So 68 days,
correct.
We hit all-time highs. We're right there now. And the average 401k, and that's despite
Well,
the
not anymore.
conflict. I don't go to war.
Not
I go to
anymore.
conflict. Despite the conflict with Venezuela, who no longer has a Navy, no longer has an Air Force, no longer has a lot of people that were leading the country into very bad places. Their leadership is gone. Their second rung leadership is gone. And we're dealing with their third, half of their third, because half of their third is gone too. The average 401k is up almost $30,000 since I took office. So the Americans are benefiting working today. We have the most working, and we have 401ks at their all-time high. Highest they've ever been. And that goes along with the stock market, which is the highest it's ever been. Under my most favored nation agreements, this is something that I wish the media would talk about, because to me it's one of the biggest things ever to happen in our country. Certainly as to medical, anything having to do with medical, because drug prices, we're delivering record-setting discounts on prescription drugs with price differences of 400, 500, and even 600% at the trumprx.gov. We recently added nearly 1,000 low-cost generics to the website. So we have drugs down 400, 500, 600%. Now you could say 80, 90, 70, 60, 50% if you want. There are two ways. Depends on the way you ask the question. But a pill that would sell in Germany or in, let's say, in London for $10, we're selling for here for $130. And I got the countries to all agree, otherwise they would have had to pay big tariffs. I don't want to go into it, but I had some very interesting discussions. They said vehemently no, and then when I said, that's all right, we're going to charge you 50% tariff on everything you sell into America, they said, well, like we said, we'll say yes. And every single country agreed, and every drug company agreed. So we have most favored nations. So we were paying the highest drug prices in the world. Now we're paying the lowest drug prices in the world. So that pill that I talked about would go from $10 to $20. The world is bigger than the U.S. Hard to believe, but it's true. So it's not like you cut it in the middle. They just had to go up a little bit, but a little bit is a doubling of a price. So a little bit's a lot. So the pill would go from $10 to $20. And we'd go from $130 to $20. Think of that. So we would get, if you remember, some of you were at the news conference I had in my first term where I got the prices down 1/8%, 1/4% my first term. And I was so proud of it because drug prices hadn't come down in 28 years, and I was the first one to do it. But now I'm getting them down, not 1/8%, I'm getting them down 400, 500, 600. Or if you want to use it a different way, you could say 70%, 80%, 90%, 50%. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And I got that through, well, everybody knew it was taking place, but we paid the highest prices anywhere in the world. Now we're paying the lowest prices anywhere in the world. And the press refuses to write about it. I think it's the biggest thing. And for healthcare, you know, so much of it is prescription drug prices and drug prices. And with them,
Listen, I thought I was good at yapping, but this, you have to admit, is the master yapper of all time. It is, yeah, next level. Next level.
coming down. The healthcare is going to come down very substantially. We recently added nearly 1,000 low-cost generics too, as I said, and that's 1,000
Impressive.
drugs, and it's all on. And this was not given by me. This was given by Dr. Oz and Bobby, and I, wasn't sure whether or not I loved the idea, but they said we want to use Trump. TrumpRx.gov is what it is, and it's the hottest site, I think, anywhere on the planet, from what I understand, Bobby, right? It's really great. People are calling up and they're buying drugs for literally a fraction of the price. And it should be the biggest story. And on that alone, we should win the midterms. On that alone, we should win the midterms. But the press doesn't talk about it. It's the biggest thing to happen in the drug industry ever, maybe. Ever. And the press doesn't even want to write stories about it. We made the largest ever investment in U.S. military, $1 trillion, and we're asking actually for $1.5 trillion for the coming year. And we have the strongest military anywhere in the world, as you know. You saw what we did with Venezuela. That worked out very quickly, and we're doing really equally as well with, but again, people don't want to write about it, with Iran. Iran is very much intent. They want very much to make a deal. So far, they haven't gotten there. We're not satisfied with it, but we will be. We will be either that or we'll have to just finish the job. But their Navy is gone, as I've said 1,000 times. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Everything's gone, and they're negotiating on fumes. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we have to go back and finish it. Maybe we don't.
Okay,
right now,
that doesn't mean much.
I mean, you can speak to Steve Witkoff and Jared. They're doing a good job. But right now, I think it looks like they want to just make a deal. They want to. They have. I don't think they have a choice. They're just going back to the internet because they're getting clobbered. Their economy is in free fall. They have 250% inflation. Their money has no value. Their whole economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me. We'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night. That was the prelude to the midterms. People understand it. They know that. Very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I'm doing that for the world. I'm not doing it just for us. And we've had great support from other nations, by the way.
No reaction so far.
We don't need it at all, but we've had great support from other nations. The problem is you always get the support when you don't need it. When you need it, you don't get the support. With Operation Epic Fury, our warriors are ensuring that the world's #1 state sponsor of terror never obtains a nuclear weapon, and they won't. Under the leadership of Vice President J.D. Vance, very proud of this, the White House Task Force to eliminate fraud is waging war on waste, fraud, theft, and abuse like nobody's ever seen before. He looks like Elliot Ness. Do you ever see Elliot Ness? I'm telling you, the guys are up there, we're all central casting, standing behind. What a group of people. No, it looks like a movie. I'm going to make a movie out of it, I think. And they're finding billions and billions and billions of dollars. And I just said, that's good. He said, you haven't seen anything yet. Just said that. And, if he does really great, we'll have a balanced budget.
What's happening, Mirage? Welcome, my friend.
This is the kind of money they stole. They're crooks. They're thieves. And I hope that Todd is going to do a real job. These are crooked people. These are thieves. This isn't like a mistake. Just talking about one person, he got hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars for securing one man, for taking care of one elderly man. He was a service. He got paid millions of dollars for taking care of one man. Total crook. They're all crooks.
Millions and millions.
The Somalians, what they've done to Minnesota, the Somalians, they're crooked as hell. Ilhan Omar, crooked as hell. They're all crooks.
Yes. This is life. This is right now.
We're putting the
Correct.
clamps on, but boy, I tell you, that's an impressive group of guys that you have behind you. I was watching that, and a couple of very strong women, too. But I was watching that last night. I said, I'm proud of you guys. In 2 months, we've exposed tens of billions of dollars of defrauded taxpayer money, prosecuted numerous fraudsters, Todd, and stopped billions of suspicious payments, very suspicious. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet? Well, you see, I'm getting reports from Todd, from JD. I've never seen anything like it. The kind of, just hundreds of billions of dollars was stolen. And no other administration would do what we're doing. Just let it go. Everybody was getting rich. And I think we have a chance to save Social Security without doing anything to it by just the numbers of fraudulent people on Social Security, people that are 115 years old, 125 years old, getting payments.
Okay.
It's funny, I said, oh, do those payments get turned back? No, they accept them. Well, somebody's getting the payment. It's not a person that's 125 years old. But that's the least of it. The numbers that we're finding out, we have great people at Social Security. We're going to make our Social Security.
Sir, do you mean if you want to clear the and break that daily support, that means we still, if we can't clear a break of that daily support, that means that we still have potential to go up. We are a major support. Yes, we reached today major support after a obviously incredible push to the downside today. During the futures expiration, major push to the 4400, major level. Correct.
So strong, so good that. So congratulations, JD. Be vicious like they are. They're violent people. They're violent, vicious scum. Before asking Vice President Vance to speak about these efforts, I want to express our tremendous gratitude to our outgoing Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who's a terrific person, actually. Up with some findings that were pretty good. And Tulsi's worked tirelessly to restore trust and focus on the intelligence, and with the intelligence community. They all respected her. They listened to her. She gave us leads that were pretty much, people thought they were dead and they weren't dead. They were right there, and she was able to expose a lot of things that we used at the FBI with Cash and with Todd and with JD and everybody else. It was amazing. She dramatically reformed the Office of Director of National Intelligence and cutting the staff by 40%, and she prevented countless terrorists and cartel members from entering the United States. She exposed mountains of evidence related to the Russia hoax, probably the greatest hoax in the history of our country. Although, when you look at the fraud coming...
Show us something, all right? Just show us a spike, an impulse, a little reflection of life. Show me anything.
Yeah,
anything.
There's a lot of them. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of them. But the Russia hoax, a great hoax. JFK and RFK assassinations, which everybody wanted to see, and we're now releasing a lot of things having to do with space. You know, it's people are very interested in it. It actually became the #1 topic. We're releasing a lot of information having to do with extraterrestrial things, and people are totally fascinated by it. It's amazing. I wasn't sure if they would enjoy it. It's literally trending #1.
Why not using the MGCQ contract? Because I trade the continuous contract right now at the moment. Just the continuous contract, super easy. Don't have to worry about it.
And he's a wonderful guy, so just say hello and thank you for the great work you've done. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to ask JD to say a few words about the war on fraud, followed by Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, who's doing fantastically, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, another one. I mean, we have great people. And the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, Central Casting. He loves war. I don't like it. He's a good man, Ellen. And Scott Bessent, you talk about a guy doing a job. Been fantastic. Thank you, Scott. Really fantastic. And a lot of the success that we're having with other countries is what you've been able to do and find. And SBA Administrator Kelly Loeffler, and all of the people here have been great. We're going to just do those few, and maybe if you have some questions, we'll go to others. But everybody around here has got a lot to say, but we did that once and it lasted for like 4 or 5 hours. It was a little much. We want to be open.
He actually needs said that. Yeah, he loves war. He's really good at war. He loves war. He's a good man. He did said that. I heard that too.
Really important thing. Bringing our country back to honesty a tremendous amount of money is involved. Hey, go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, thank you for your leadership, sir, and for making it possible. I often find in the fraud task force that there sometimes are barriers that we need to break down, agencies that need to coordinate, and I'll come to the president and say, Mr. President, I need your permission to do, they'll say, for what? For the fraud task force, and he'll cut me off and say, yes, go do it. So the fact that we have dedicated presidential leadership is really what's made this possible, because it does require we've got great people around the table, but sometimes these agencies don't know how to work together at the lower level, and that's one of the things we've had to turn on and force with the fraud task force. So I want to shout out just a few all-stars here. Linda at the Department of Education has been amazing at finding student loan fraud. You've got people who are either illegal aliens or aren't even actually real human beings who are getting hundreds of millions of dollars from the Department of Education for student loans. We have cut that off. We found a lot. We're going to find a lot more. Scott at HUD has been amazing, because a lot of the fraud that we see is housing fraud, people claiming benefits that they're not entitled to, or again, sir, sometimes completely made up people who exist purely to collect fraudulent money from the American taxpayer. Brooke at the Department of Agriculture, something I had no idea until I started this work, sir, that we send hundreds of billions of dollars to the states to administer the food stamp program. The federal government has no insight into whether those food stamps are going to people who are legally entitled or whether those people actually even exist. And so we're working on a number of mechanisms to actually force the states to verify that the people who receive these benefits are actually entitled to them. And I could go down the list. I've gotten a lot of support from a lot of people in this.
Lorenzo, give me a quick update on the trade. Well, like I said before, we explained the whole process of the trade setup ID, the weekly, the daily time frame, the 1 hour, etc., and everything that comes with this right now. Yeah, so far no movement, but we're watching the speech or the meeting right now live. The only thing about Iran that he just mentioned was in regards to the nuclear program. We do not want Iran to have nuclears. Well, that didn't do anything. It didn't move gold up. It didn't move gold down. Okay, it didn't react to any of that. So, yeah, the question is, what will react, or what will the market react to in regards, or will it even have an impact? Yes or no? We have to just be very patient and see. Last thing that we want to do right now is to chase the market and to get into a random entry because of X and Y. I mean, the setup is set already. There's not much else that I can do besides that.
If we're not actually taking care of the fraud issue. And let me just give one example to build on something you said earlier, sir. One of the people that Todd just prosecuted was a person who was collecting a lot of money from the American taxpayer to take care of elderly citizens, people who worked their entire lives, paid their taxes, should have had dignity and nobility in old age, but it was deprived from them from fraudsters who say that they're taking care of them, who collect a check to take care of them, but then abuse and neglect these people. And particularly one man who died because he wasn't getting adequate care, and that guy was still collecting benefits to take care of a person who he had completely neglected. So not only do you have an American taxpayer who's paying into these programs, you have an elderly citizen deprived of his dignity because we're not going after the fraudsters. Well, now we are.
How much money did he get?
Sir, hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe more than that, but we think that that exact type of fraud has been replayed all over our country. That particular case was outside of Minneapolis. We expect that there are tens of thousands of people who are collecting fraudulent money to take care of people, and they're not actually taking care of them. We're, of course, going to get to the root of as much of it as we can. But again, sir, it's been, I wouldn't say fun, because you find out how much people have been taken advantage of, but it's certainly very good and valuable work. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do it.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Attorney General, please.
I'll just continue to talk about what the Vice President was just talking about. The way that we are actually, it's one thing to uncover fraud, which we've done, and that's part of it, but it's also prosecuting the bad guys that are doing it and stopping it from continuing. And that's where you have, everybody in this room has inspector generals. And for many years, these really hardworking law enforcement members would identify fraud, and nobody did anything about it. DOJ prosecuted it, but spent a very little resources on that. So what we've done just in the past 51 days, over 4.
Hey, sir, I just came across your account. I currently trade ICT or SMC, and now I'm thinking of shifting into order flow trading. Do you think it's more profitable and easier to learn in the long run? Well, to give you a clear answer around that right there, okay, and we'll listen to see what what Trump will do in the meantime, because we're just waiting and waiting and waiting right now. We can listen to the whole cabinet meeting if you want to, but I'm not sure if you really are willing to wait for that. To answer your question, my friend, in the end, the reason why we implement order flow right now to our volume profile strategy, because in essence what I'm trading is a volume profile trading strategy, is actually just because of the fact that you really get to understand the why behind everything. Okay, the why behind something. What is the reason why we're pushing up higher? Who is in control? Who is stuck in their position? And why, right? That is the answer that you're looking for. So you go, instead of trying to build a strategy and system around, you know, a lot of subjective interpretations, you can get straight to the source of the information. I'm not saying that what you're doing right now with ICT is a worst thing to do. Like, I don't have enough experience to give an honest opinion about your strategy, right? And I will never do that, okay? So that's up to you to decide here. What I can say is that the why behind it, the understanding, the deeper layers of why something moves, giving you the full picture, I think helps you with, or could help you with making a better decision, be more confident about the setup that you trade, look for, and you can explain the setup in essence better, right? Oh, that makes sense. It's not gonna magically turn you profitable. That's not how it works, okay? But what it will do is it will give you a lot of insights in how the markets actually move. And I think that will make a big difference. Yes, right now though, gold is pushing up a little bit. The dollar is starting to slow down. It's clearly not, Trump right now. That's kind of
400
pushing the market.
law
clearly.
enforcement actions in this country related
really
to
happening from that perspective at the moment. Yeah, what we have to do is we have to be patient, see what will happen here. Can we break down? Can we push up? Can we at least come back down towards our entry of interest? But it has been respectfully flat that no one really expected once Trump started speaking, right? The funny part is when you expect volatility, it doesn't come. But when you don't expect volatility, it is there in front of your own eyes all the time. Specifically 30 minutes before the open, or whatever the case may be. That random news that comes out that usually spikes gold up 200, 300 pips in 10 seconds or 2 minutes. When you expect it, it's not coming. What a lesson. What a lesson. Regardless, always important to still keep a close eye on it. Anyways, we have to. We're kind of forced to. Because you never know. That's the point. You never know. Right? So this is usually the reason why we still have to watch him speaking live. If there is something that he's doing, something extraordinary that he's sharing, then it could be that the market would react to that. So you could never take anything for granted and say, this is always how it goes. It's just something that we experience. When we expect volatility, oh no, we know that the meeting is coming. We know that volatility is coming. No volatility, okay? Yes. We do not hear anything in regards to Iran. The only thing that we heard about was that nuclear program, okay? What we want to hear about, what the investors want to hear about is the peace deal, agreements, or either very positive or very negative. He was extremely neutral. Yeah, maybe we will, maybe we won't, right? No clarity around that. I don't think that gave an investor any hope or any incentive to kind of understand what's going on, okay? So, like I said before, we called Mr. Trump the master yapper. It's good to be a great yapper, but he is the master of that. He's doing great. From that perspective. Okay. Now the dollar is no longer really moving here. Oil is also slowing down a little bit. Okay. So you can definitely see that oil and the dollar are starting to slow down. All right. Gold is creeping up, but not with confidence. Not with confidence at this current moment right here. Okay. Yeah. So what happened? Price, of course, came down throughout the whole session here. London session, okay, major move. We had this New York open session, actually. We had that set up right there that we could see. With this high right there, we take the high and we take it to the low. And yeah, we were clearly operating in this low volume node right there, right? That's that resistance right there that we're facing. So this is why we don't want to buy right now, because if you want to buy here, regardless if you want to buy here, okay, your risk to reward is not going to be great, because even if you want to buy here, okay, let's say you bought here, all right, then where are you going to put your stop loss? Well, probably you're going to put it under low or something, right? You would put it probably there. I'm not sure if I would do that. I would not do that, because there's not really a reason to put it there, in my opinion. Okay, it has to be below the 4406. But let's say you put it there. Even if you would put it there, then your risk to reward will be a 0.73. Okay? And that is, of course, a standard. Okay? Yes, it could break out. Great. But then it has to break out. Okay? It has to break out. If it doesn't break out, it will be potentially a 0.7. And that's just not the risk to reward that we're looking for. Okay? All right? Yeah. Bro is missing the main part of the interview. Don't tell me that he's talking about something interesting right now. Well, anyways, if that would have been the case, then we would have probably spotted that right now on the charts. It was that important for us. Okay? Then we would have seen that on the charts right here. Okay? So logically speaking, even if we would look for longs, then this is just not the right level to look for longs from, because the risk to reward is not beneficial enough. Price has to come down, and it has to come down to this level on the 1 hour time frame. It's actually such a nice level. If we can get there, it would be fantastic. On the 50-minute as well, same level. Actually a very, very good level to work with right there. Okay, starts at the 19 and it goes down to the 4400. All right, this is a nice buying zone in my opinion. If you could get there, then that's a level where I would definitely look for buys from, because it's not just a level that is backed by the hourly time frame. It is a level that is backed by the weekly right here, as well as the daily time frame. Okay, we have the weekly right here, where we're clearly reacting from, and the daily right here, where we are clearly reacting from. Now, this huge sell-off today also, and this is also an important factor, might have to do with a lot of contracts getting close today, okay? Because we talked about it beforehand. We talked about the overall structure of what we saw, okay? In terms of the actual closures, okay? The futures expiration that took place today at the 27th of May, which is today, okay? We closed the futures contracts. A lot of contracts are getting close. So this is why we saw the dollar stagnating, not doing anything. Oil, relatively flat. Gold, dumping. Very unusual market behavior, okay? Has to do with what we talked about right there, okay? The contract, expiration, etc., etc. So the fact that we are now tapping into major support on the weekly and the daily, we have now, or are dealing with the contract expiration as well here, and we're starting to see a little bit of a rollover, might actually be good, okay? Because would and will, a lot of people that are shorting gold right now close their position and open an immediate short again right at that same level in that new contract. Okay? That is the question to ask yourself. Is that what's going to happen? Because if that's the case, you would see a lot more selling pressure right now. Okay? A lot more selling pressure right now. Yo, bro, no trade today. I mean, we've been live for right now for 3 hours. We know that Trump is speaking right now at the moment. Right? We knew the risk involved here. I decided before Trump's speech to still keep my buy limit open. We came down pretty low. We didn't tap into our buy limit, but we are still there. I will probably keep it open. Yes, I will probably keep this buy limit open. Not on futures, but definitely on my account right here on MetaTrader. Because it is an important level. And I see potential in that zone in case we get there. Okay? So maybe not a live trade, but definitely a trade. Because that setup will remain around that area, which is the 4-4. Let me check it one more time on futures, on CFD here. The 4420.46 to be exact. Okay, the 4420 you could say. Okay, to make it easy. Yeah, that is a level that I'm interested in buying right now because I do see the alignment with everything that we have been seeing and we're talking about from the higher time frame as well of the pullback scenarios that could take place after the contract expiration, rolling into the new contracts right now as well here at support. So we do see the potential there, my friends. I do see the potential there in that setup. Okay. Yeah, let's one more time sneak in here, see if he has some updates for us. Some final updates. But I don't think so. I don't think there's much there to see.
One field. So amazing work. Energy's a high-tech industry, and those guys are crushing it, and they're loving the fact that they can provide affordable, reliable, secure energy for America.
And we're working very hard in California. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but California has tremendous...
Yeah, okay. All right, so not the volatility that we have been hoping for right here, my friends, in terms of the news, okay? Interesting lesson once again, is that the volatility itself comes unexpected. And not when you expect it on a extremely important meeting, okay? Around what we expect it to be. The Iran conflict, the related negotiations, you name it, okay? So yeah, I think that's it indeed right now at the moment here. I think that the buy limit will stay, the 4420 for myself. The stop loss as well will be below the lows, and I think the main reason for that is just because of the hourly zone right here. I think it's a good level to work with. It's high volume, it's a good candle closure, and it's a nice area of interest that aligns with the daily and the weekly as well. We're pretty oversold in the 1 hour. I still think there is a chance of that pullback towards it. So this is the main reason why I'm holding on to the limit order and not really going to do anything with this here. In terms of Trump, I think that's not going to be something that we have to watch right now at the moment here. Okay, I think that was pretty much it. If it was that important, it would have been already discussed beforehand and not afterwards. Okay. All that makes sense, my friends here. I just want to thank you guys all for counting in and watching regardless. We did start it later today, but I still managed to pull off around a nice clean 3 hours. We have been going over the charts and I hope you understand a little bit of why we are understanding the way the market is operating right now and why selling was not an option, okay, at this current moment. Why it's a little bit more tricky to sell than to buy, even though the market has been selling off all day long, okay? Yes, I hope that makes sense for you guys right there, okay? Thank you guys very much, by the way. I really appreciate all the support here. Today was a massive stream as well. Regardless, you guys come here obviously for the trades, but also for the education and also for the constant interaction being here together, trading live together, trading in general together, and just continuously sharing our ideas and our processes. I think this is what makes the channel so amazing, is that regardless, we are coming here anyways to discuss whatever we need to discuss together. Okay, amazing stuff here today. We actually started this stream at 128,895. We're at 129,541. So that means we might reach the 130,000 subscribers tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Okay. For the rest, we have a couple more spots left for the gold hybrid trading system here. Okay. 20 spots. I think we're almost full right now. So if you want to take trading to the next level, you want to learn about the order flow and about this exact workspace and the templates that I use, the weekly, the daily, everything that we just talked about, and the reason you're interested in learning about that deeper, and as well get access to my tools and a full-on 6-week program of how to master it, then you have an opportunity to sign up right now. I think it will be the last couple of days that you can do that, okay? The link's in the description. I will link it one more time in the chat, right around there. And I think once if we're full, and you will not hear me talk about it for the next coming weeks ahead of us, because we're going to be working with the people inside and trading with them inside as well. Okay, this is your opportunity to grab your chance and to say something here. A lot of people are going to be away for the summer. All right, they're going to go on a holiday. They're going to book their little flight. They're going to enjoy the beach. But some of you guys are going to actually crush the markets and going to prepare for the rest of the year. Okay? Make the right choice. And I'll see you tomorrow again at 8 a.m. Not at 9:30. Most likely at 8 a.m. EST as usual. Do take that in consideration. Okay? Let's see what happens tomorrow here. Hopefully we hold that daily support. I really would love to see this holding right now and actually make a larger reaction or a larger pullback. Obviously not before it reaches my limit order. Then it can go, and it can go to the absolute freaking moon, if you ask me, okay? But anyways, it's time for a pullback here. Major sell-off today. We know why. Let's see if we can actually make that a reversal. First target being, obviously, the 4480, okay? The 4480. This is actually where the major resistance will be right now. Okay, the big resistance will be at 4480, 4475. Okay, all right. I guess see you guys tomorrow. Yes, I'm gonna hold on to the limit order right there. Yeah, today it is time to hold on to my trade and see where we take it later on. Okay, appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. All right. Okay, man. Hope you guys are doing well here. Take care. And much love, my friends. And I'd love to see you tomorrow again. And yeah, there will come a time when we don't have to think about news every single day. It will happen. It will happen. Yeah. But be patient. We'll get there. We'll get there. Much love, my friends. Much love. Much love. Much love. Where's that song? Yes. Much love. Thank you very much. See you later. Oh yeah. Very important. Download my free book. Yeah. You can learn about the order flow. Not the order flow. The volume profile. Okay. The higher time frame key levels and everything around there. It's on the book right there. You can download this for free. You don't have to pay for that. It's free. Study. Watch the live streams on a daily basis. And if you're committed, join the Gold Hybrid Trading System Elite program. All right, man. See you tomorrow. 8 a.m. EST. Peace, guys, my friends. Bye-bye. See you later. Ciao, ciao.